Canada Post workers are back on strike here and across the country. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Ryan Bonazzo. The Posties' sudden walkout came immediately following the announcement of some major changes the federal government wants to bring to Canada Post. Justin Hardy met with striking workers today and joins us now in studio. Justin, how is it going down on the picket line?
Ryan, they're in high spirits today. Picketers were out bright and early despite the strike being ordered just last evening. Union representatives say this will be an important fight as it's now about more than a negotiated contract as they try to save how delivery services work. The strike order came Thursday evening following a federal announcement of changes that would allow Canada Post to end door-to-door delivery and close or convert some post offices. Cup W Local 620 President Leo Favreau says those changes are unacceptable.
They want to cut services all across the board. So it's no longer about us anymore. It's now about Canadians. They want to eliminate door-to-door. They want 1 or 2 days a week postal delivery, and a whole slew of things that are going to hurt the general public.
With the suddenness of the strike, most workers had little to no warning, but they still managed to organize on the picket line outside the local Canada Post headquarters on Alloy Drive. Favreau says he's proud of how quickly they organized to fight these changes.
It's going to be a disaster for us. It's going to be a disaster for Canada. And I'm happy with the fact that my people showed up this morning and we're ready to go. They're not going to be pushed around, and we're going to have to stand up tall this time.
Favreau adds that he wants everyone to know that the fight has grown beyond the rights of workers and they hope to see support.
It's not about us, about money, about everything that I've heard that we've done, apparently. We're now fighting for them and for their services and their rights. And there's ways around doing this. It doesn't have to always be cuts. So I'm hoping that the public will join us and raise a fuss and help us save their services.
Justin Hardy, TBT News.
The provincial government is trying to bolster the forestry industry in the face of U.S. duties and tariffs with a new $30 million investment package. Natural Resources Minister Mike Harris was in Thunder Bay today to announce $20 million for forest access roads and $10 million for Ontario sawmills while they find new markets for their goods. The money for the Forest Access Roads program brings the total commitment to $79 million. Forestry roads on Crown land aren't just used by logging companies, but also mining companies, area residents, and others, according to Harris. He says it's important for Ontario to continue to support the forestry sector and urges the federal government to follow suit.
We've made record investments through programs such as the Forest Sector Innovation and Investment Program and the Forest Biomass Program. But we know that more is needed, and that's why I'm here today alongside my friend, Associate Minister Holland.
Our government is doing its part, but we know lasting results require partnerships at every level of government. We have already called on the Government of Canada to bring resources to bear in support of Ontario's forest sector. We welcomed the announcement of $1 billion in support for Canadian forestry last month. Now we are renewing our call for the federal government to act swiftly and translate that announcement into real action.
Both NOMA and the Ontario Forest Industries Association have expressed their support for today's announcement. The city's making headway on the multi-million-dollar renovations to the Conservatory. Construction is expected to finish this fall, and officials are hoping to finish reinstalling and rebuilding the tropical and cacti displays by early December. Jessica Clement has the details.
Progress continues on the extensive renovations at the Centennial Conservatory. All the glass has been redone, and this is phase 2 of a 3-phase plan to renew the facility and the surrounding property. The second phase renovation started back in 2024, and landscape architect Guy Walter says that work will be done soon.
Currently, we're in the final stages of phase 2, which is predominantly the renewal of the tropical greenhouse. So we are actually commissioning the facility right now for HVAC, heating, cooling, all of this. and we should have occupancy by the end of October.
After that, Walter says they'll start reinstalling and rebuilding the tropical and cacti displays. That work should be finished by early December. He notes they're hoping to have the conservatory's grand reopening a week before Christmas, but can't guarantee the facility will be ready to resume regular public hours until into the new year. Walter adds there's still more work to be done as they continue on phase 3 of the project, which focuses on the space outside the conservatory.
With the overall landscape, which we are, as you see, happening in the background right now with the new aquatic pond, retention area, the arrival landscape, and then the rest of the grading and removals will be done this fall and next spring with the rest of the landscape, the gardens, the park spaces, all of this hopefully completed before the end of next year.
The initial budget for Phase 1 came under $4.2 million, but Phase 2, which includes some of Phase 3, is costing an additional $7.2 million. Walter says he's excited for the public to see the conservatory's transformation.
We're bringing just technology to the project. We're bringing a lot more animation and activity to really kind of have a lot more activity and engagement in the space. So it's really a complete transformation of the facility.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The Ontario government has announced a hiring freeze across many provincial agencies and boards. This despite the release of the province's latest financial figures, which show a much lower deficit than initially thought. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
Ontario's deficit for last year came in much lower than projected, a difference of almost $8 billion in the look back at the fiscal year that ended March 31st. The finance minister says the disclosure of public accounts
reflects our government's continued focus on balancing smart investments with careful fiscal management.
At the same time, the province is capping hiring at 143 boards, agencies, and commissions.
We want to make sure that we're delivering the services to Ontarians that they expect in a cost-efficient way.
This covers groups like the LCBO, the Alcohol and Gaming Commission, Ontario Health, and Metrolinx. Mulrooney explains hiring at provincial agencies has shot up by about 5% in recent years.
They've hired sufficient people to deliver on the mandate that we have given them, and we want to make sure that going forward that they have a culture of respect for taxpayer dollars with every decision that they make about hiring.
Frontline staff aren't covered by the freeze. No hit to hospitals or schools. Mulrooney insists this is not a service cut. Still, there are worries about longer waits.
This is not the time to cut and freeze, especially since we have 800,000 people unemployed in Ontario right now.
A number Ontario's budget watchdog has flagged will only go up as economic growth slows.
So while they're spinning some good numbers today, the outlook is grim.
The Liberal finance critic believes progressive Conservatives have taken their eyes off the ball.
We will have tens of billions of dollars in deficits in the next 3 years, leading up to the government exceeding $500 billion in debt.
The finance minister insists that's the good kind of debt.
Investing in hospitals, in highways, subways, schools, a range of long-term assets that'll be around a lot longer than you and I.
Bethlyn Falvey has been touting a path back to balance in the next 3 years. But for critics, that path is hard to see right now.
It will either take cuts to services or increases in taxes.
It won't be long until we get a better sense of how Ontario is doing, almost a year into the trade war with the U.S. The finance minister has to deliver his fall economic statement by November 15th. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
One day after Premier Doug Ford announced that the province is putting the brakes on speed cameras, there are calls to allow cities to keep them. This morning, a group of concerned residents gathered at Toronto City Hall saying the province's decision will cost people their lives. CTV's Alison Hurst reports.
Backlash is growing against the province's plan to remove all speed cameras.
What the hell, Mr. Ford?
Kendrew Pape's sister was killed while crossing the street in 2018.
The human cost is way too high for us to be gambling on big signs and flashing lights.
Premier Doug Ford made the announcement yesterday that his government will be passing legislation that will remove all speed cameras from municipalities across the province, calling the devices a cash grab.
Our children deserve safe streets, and I'm asking you to stand up for them and keep speed cameras in place.
If the Premier were to succeed, it would be a death sentence for someone somewhere.
Speaking to reporters after the announcement, Mayor Olivia Chow said she believes the decision is wrong. Several of the city's councillors backed that claim up this morning.
This is about a threat to the safety of children. It's a direct threat to the safety of all pedestrians, especially seniors.
Don't take a tool out of our toolkit. That's the message to the Premier.
Still, the province's Minister of Transportation says they're ready to defend their decision.
It's about proactive rather than reactive. You go through a school zone, if you're 20 over, these cameras will send you a ticket 3 weeks later. What we believe in and what we think is stopping that speeding at the point of entry.
Adding that they'll set up a fund that will support measures to extend curbs, speed bumps, and roundabouts.
We're absolutely ready to defend our position on that, but ultimately we believe we have the right to protect the taxpayer while also at the same time working with municipalities to ensure safety on our roads.
The legislation is expected to be tabled when the House returns. Alison Hurst, CTV News, Toronto.
The Regional Hospital Foundation is partnering with Lakehead Motors to launch a new raffle. It's called Cruising for a Cure in support of breast cancer patients, and the big prize is a limited edition pink Jeep. The raffle kicked off this morning just ahead of October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. One lucky winner will take home this 2024 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392 Final Edition, valued at over $160,000. Hospital Foundation CEO Glenn Craig notes the dealership donated the rare vehicle to help in the fight against breast cancer.
We are kicking off an exciting new raffle. This is Cruising for a Cure. We have an amazing donation from the Kamusi family at Lakehead Motors of not a one of a kind, but a very rare vehicle, Tuscadero pink Jeep that has all the bells and whistles. I think I call this luxury military grade.
Oh, it feels great. We are always, Lakehead Motors is always privileged and honored when we can be part of event like this and participate in giving back to the community. We've been involved with the hospital for quite a few years now, and this is a great way to continue.
Raffle tickets can be purchased online at cruisingforacure.ca and at the Thunder Bay 50/50 store. The draw date is January 16th. Well, the Hospital Foundation's main fundraiser, of course, is the Thunder Bay 50/50, and today, September's grand prize winner was drawn. The lucky ticket was held by a couple from Hanmer near Sudbury. Graham and Helen Bromley got the call from Hospital Foundation President Glenn Craig.
Well, Graham, I'm calling you to say you are our September Thunder Bay 50/50 winner.
Holy smokes.
And it's a really big number again this month.
No, this is a joke. Oh. I recognize his voice. Well, the voice sounds familiar, but it can't be.
What's your wife's name, Graham?
Helen.
Helen, this isn't a joke. I am calling to tell your husband that you have won $2,059,142.
Holy.
Love how they immediately went into detective mode to try to see if it was in fact Glenn Craig. Well, it was, and the 50/50 has now awarded more than $76 million in prizes since it was launched in 2021. Tickets for next month's 50/50 are on sale now, with the next grand prize draw coming on Halloween.
I love how the higher the prize is, the more often we're having to bleep out their response.
I mean, that makes sense. I would let a couple of curse words fly as well in celebration if somebody told me that I had won that much money. And I think the higher the amount, the more curse words,
the more bleeps we're going to hear.
Exactly, the more bleeps. All right. Well, no bleeping. Well, perhaps people were saying some curse words in a positive way today, Fiona, because we were once again above seasonal.
Oh, definitely. We were a good handful of degrees above seasonal, not as warm as the humidex of 31 that we saw yesterday, but a high of 19 with almost nothing but sunshine throughout the day. It was gorgeous out there. Remember, seasonal highs for Thunder Bay at this time of year are about 15. So this is quite comfortable. Winds starting out relatively light from the southwest, 2 kilometers per hour. In the afternoon, rotated around a little bit, starting to come in from the south-southeast, 19K. And that was after a morning low at about 7 a.m. of 4 Celsius. Now across the region, loads of sunshine. Red Lake did actually start out with a lot of mist for much of the morning, but it was burned off by all that sunshine. They're currently at their high for the day of 19, normals for them 12. So that's 7 degrees above normal. Fort Frances at 20 at this hour. Kenora matching that, Dryden, all with sunshine. More sun as you head towards Armstrong and Greenstone, a little cooler, but again, a good 5 degrees above the norm for this time of year. Along the northeastern shores, Marathon and Wawa, 14 and 15 Celsius, but still above normal. And Sault Ste. Marie, mostly sunny. They did actually start out with a little bit more cloud cover, but it's been slowly but surely diminishing throughout the day. At 17 Celsius, folks are enjoying the evening. Here in the city of Thunder Bay, we will drop down to a low of 8, and we will start out clear for a good portion of the overnight hours, but it will start to get a little bit more cloudy, maybe partly cloudy by morning with winds from the southeast 5 to 10 kilometers per hour. Now, the big question is always the weekend, and Ryan, it'll start out a little bit iffy. I'm going to suggest, if you're going to do one of your runs, wait until the afternoon, because it'll probably be a little bit more stable and a little bit nicer. But after that morning iffy period, things are actually looking pretty nice for the weekend. And I'll have more details on that later on in the news hour.
I mean, listen, I keep suggesting that we need more 2 p.m., 3 p.m. races, but no, nobody wants to run in 25 degrees. So,
well, it's September. You're not expecting 25 degrees.
Oh. All right. Well, I think it's a losing battle. I've tried.
I vote for later in the day.
I think we're going to be running in the morning, no matter what those temperatures are. All right. Thanks a lot, Fiona.